Welcome to episode 28 of the Fun Dad, Dean and Wife Unfiltered podcast. I am Dean.
And I am Sarah. So I wanted to start today with a few episodes ago. We actually talked about taking our kids to a gymnastics class, and it was an absolute disaster. So for a quick roundup, it was a new class. They'd never been before. It was on a weeknight. I had work. They had clubs. I had to pick them up. My mum picked them up from the clubs, and then she dropped them to you. They had dinner. Then I had to pick them up at like 5:30, and take them to this gymnastics class. And basically, it was a shit show. They both cried. It was felt rushed. They were tired. They were hungry, and they didn't take part. And then we had a little debate, didn't we, on here about, should I have forced them, or were they just beyond that point of no return at that point? And I made the decision as their mum. We left. It was.
You left. You didn't want to leave though.
I didn't want to leave, but they were both beyond.
If they want to try it first off, I think you should force them in there first couple of times. But that instance, they were just completely gone, weren't they? They were crying.
Yeah, it was not good. So fast forward to Saturday, just gone, and we've got a new dance class. And the eldest was a bit nervous, wasn't she? And she started refusing to go. In the car on the way there, the nerves were coming. She didn't know anyone. She didn't quite know what to expect. And she almost didn't go through the door. And when I say she needed a little push, I quite literally just
shoved them in and left.
I didn't shove. Not gentle push.
Yeah, but she was nervous the night before. She was didn't want to go the night before, didn't she? She was crying about it. Then in the morning, I could sense the closer we were getting to it, the more kind of quiet she was being. And yeah, I knew when we got to the door, it was going to be a problem. But we got her in there, didn't we?
Yeah, so, we almost didn't get her through the door. Obviously, the ladies leading the dance class were really helpful, really kind, really welcoming, and so were the children, to be honest, that were also in the class. They were really nice. And I was quite nervous pulling away, and I felt a little bit bad leaving her. There's that bit of you that always thinks, oh, God, is she going to be okay? And then, do you know what? If anyone's in that scenario and you're not sure whether you should leave, whether you should go, when we picked her up, I literally looked at her to be like, how did it go? I wasn't quite sure. I had that doubt in me. First thing she said to me, right, I need all the uniform. She loved it. She literally told me that it was amazing. She absolutely had the time of her life. So she was buzzing. She wanted the uniform. But I think without that little, and I physically did kind of actually literally push her through the door. Without that, she wouldn't have done it.
I walked off and I was like, Sarah, we're going. We've got to go. We've got to leave her here because the more we hang around by the door, the harder it's going to be. It was good the lady at the door was so amazing, though, because that really helped. But I think if every time they're nervous about trying something new and you get to the front door and they're like, oh, I don't want to do it, Daddy, and you're like, oh, I don't have to do it then, you're just setting them up. Home. You are setting them up for failure. Of course you are, because real life ain't like that. You have to do stuff you're nervous about, and to be nervous about not knowing anyone or it's your first class and to not do it is not a good enough reason. No. If they don't enjoy it and they go to dance class a few times, they're like, no, don't like it, Dad. That's fair enough. But
I saw a quote from a book. I can't quite remember the author, but it said, sometimes you have to step back so your kid can step up. And quite resonated with me. I was like, oh yeah, okay. So we did that on Saturday, and luckily it paid off. So we just wanted to share that because obviously a few episodes ago we shared the awful experience. We just wanted to share that sometimes there is light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's a tricky thing as well. When your kid's crying at the door, many parents have experienced this. They DM me on Instagram and I put a post up the other day about it. Loads of parents experience this. It's hard to know exactly what to do, but I felt in that instance it was the right decision. I knew it was the right decision. I wasn't nervous or anything when I left or sad. I was like, she'll thank us for this because she likes dancing,
she had a great time.
Yeah, so it was good.
Now, moving swiftly on, I'm not entirely sure what date this podcast is going to be released because I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a bit delirious today because I've actually worked an 11-hour day and then we've come straight to the podcast studios, and here we are. I don't actually know how I'm still talking, but I am. I don't really have a problem with that. Anyway.
I'm so bloody hungry.
Dean's hungry.
If I get hangry during this episode, that's why, because I haven't eaten since about
we need dinner.
Midday.
But we haven't made a massive deal of this on social media. And we've kind of kept it to ourselves. I don't really know why we've done that. We just kind of have.
I just had enough of people going, I'm doing dry Jan and all this. It's just a
yeah,
bit cringe.
so we've completed dry January.
Have
I'm really
we?
proud of us.
No, it's today of recording. It's the 29th of Jan, so we've got a couple of days left.
A couple of days, but by the time this is aired, we will have completed dry January. And yeah, some people might find this pathetic. Some people might think a lot, oh, well done. And that's entirely up to you and how you drink and your drinking journey. But for us, it is something that I'm proud of. I often get back from the caravan in September and I say, we've drunk quite a lot over the summer and the caravan's quite social, so I'm not going to drink in September. And I'm not going to lie, I've probably done that for the last 5 years and I've only ever made it till the 26th of September. That's the hard, I've always been succumbing to peer pressure, or I'm having people around and I just think, oh fuck it, I'll have a drink, and actually my motives for doing dry January, I just wanted to prove that I could say something and actually stick to it, and I have. So
that's very important for confidence.
Well
I said on the previous episode, it's very important to say something to yourself and actually do it. And we what did we do? We done like pinky promises to the kids, because we said in the previous podcast, but Tenerife, didn't we, over Christmas?
Yeah.
We pinky promised them around by the pool.
Yeah, on New Year's Eve.
To say we wasn't going to drink in January, so that was kind of a big, indicator, promoted for me anyway.
A reflection for me on this journey as well. And again, I'm not judging anyone else, because I've probably been quite a big drinker since I was about 16, if I'm perfectly honest.
I'd say moderate, not big. Moderate drinking.
Yeah, I suppose I don't really know. But, I
pretty
mean,
moderate.
don't get me wrong, 2 large glasses of wine, cheap date, I'm pretty pissed after that. But I do like a glass of wine. Like I've said on here before, I wish I didn't, and I wish I could find another, and I suppose I could get into a better habit if I really found the determination. But I like a glass of wine when I'm cooking the roast dinner. I like a glass of wine when I have my Chinese. As you know, if you follow me on Instagram, I love a Chinese. But I wanted to reflect about drinking in front of the kids, because we had a boozy Christmas. We'd had a few events. And I think reflecting on it, even a few glasses of wine, have I got slurred speech in front of the kids? Do I become a little bit more silly? Do I want them to see me acting that way? Am I being a good role model? I just suddenly had all these thoughts, overthinking my drinking in front of the children. I'm not saying, I drink loads and loads and I'm a completely different person, but I do become more lively when I've had a drink.
Do you think they notice? That's the thing.
Yeah,
Do you think
I as a result of Christmas just gone, yes, I think they do notice, especially now Daisy's older.
Whether they dislike it or not, I wonder whether internally, like after a few glasses of wine, they can really tell they actually dislike it. Because I don't think we're bad drunks, or are we?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So I don't know whether they notice that much, really. Like, if you've had a few glasses of wine, you might personally might change a bit, but it's not like you become a bad person. You just become a bit more lively, like we both do. It's not. So I don't think it's a major problem, really. I think main reason for me, December, I smashed it personally.
You did. You were way worse than me.
I drank 12 days on the spin from about, what was it? From about the 18th, I think. I had work parties and other parties. Till New Year's Eve, and I was like, I've had it enough. I'm done with this. And January's an easy month not to drink. There's not much going on, so it's easy to give your body that rest. And I thought it felt like that was important. Like, I'm 39 in a few months. Your body, you can't keep smashing it like that. So January was important for me not to do it. And as I said, we promised the kids. That was a big motive for me.
Yeah.
Like, once they've seen it. I've been down the snooker club a couple of times and I've taken pictures of 0% to prove to them that I've had 0% in there.
Oh,
you didn't believe me.
Oh my God, I remember that. So Dean, in probably mid-January, maybe, something around there.
Around the dodgy period, about the 15th, I think people caved because they've had enough of it now.
It was so funny. So I was putting Ruby to bed and Daisy came in and said, "Can I have your phone?" And I was thinking, why? And you'd gone down the snooker club, and I think just as you'd left, I just made like a passing comment or something like, "Oh, remember we're doing dry Jan," or something like that. "Oh, don't drink tonight," like a passing comment, just, to say it to you as you left the door. And she said, "Oh, can I have your phone?" And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "I want to message Daddy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I gave it to her. And then I read it later, and she'd messaged you saying something like, "Don't drink tonight, Dad. Don't let the
I thought
family
you
name
put. I
down."
thought you put her up to that.
I didn't.
I thought you put her up to that.
And I just love it. I thought to myself, oh my God, she's 10 years old and she's taken my phone and she's messaged you and she said, "Don't let the family name down."
No,
I thought that was brilliant.
0% Peroni was my go-to. It's my go-to in the snooker club in January, and I might even keep that up there. Because I don't need to drink there.
Do you play better not having a drink?
Well, we play snooker, pool, and darts, so there's loads to do. Me and my mate do that, so I don't need to drink to have. It's not required.
No.
Like, I've got plenty of fun going on, so I might, just curb it there because not needed. So have you noticed many differences from doing it?
I mean, this is something I wanted to touch on because, as everybody knows, your phone is listening to you, and you go on social media and the algorithm's been listening to you, or what you've been Googling, or what you've been talking about. Like, we all know that happens on our phones. And as January came and I was doing Dry Jan, what came up on my feed? Loads of videos of people, who are sober or who have been sober, who have gone through that journey with alcohol and come out a better place. I just wanted to touch on the fact that, these videos, when they're declaring, that I've given up drinking, it's changed my life, it's made me feel so much better, and, it's basically kind of promising it'll solve all your problems if you stop drinking, sorry. I just wanted to touch on, I've been sober for a month, and I've seen like a few changes, but it hasn't changed my life.
None of my problems have gone away.
Like I still struggle with sleep. I don't think alcohol and sleep was ever my issue. I just don't. I think I went into it a little bit naively, and I was kind of waiting for these.
Maybe a month's
come.
not long enough. Maybe a month's not long enough. But for me, my sleep has been miraculously better. I've noticed that. Sleep's the number one thing I've noticed. Obviously, no hangovers. I get bad anxiety on hangovers, so none of that. So that's good. But overall, nothing earth-shattering for me this month. Like, it's been a good month, productive, not massively better than normal months, but yeah, it's not made me think, I need to give up drinking fully. I'm not nowhere near there. I don't want to do that. Like, I like socially drinking. I like having a wine with you at dinner now and again. I like that. It hasn't made me think, no, life's so much better with no alcohol in it. It just hasn't made me do that, I don't think. But it's nice to have a month off.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing that for some people it is a life-changing change and it's something they need to do.
Of course, I think if you've obviously got a problem with alcohol and you haven't got a good relationship with it, that's a completely different thing. But we can drink one time a week, have a few drinks, and that'd be enough. So we're not quite needing for that, but it's nice to give your organs, especially at nearly 40 years old, a break from it.
Guys, have you noticed in this podcast he's mentioned his age twice?
Oh God, yeah, I'm a little bit.
He's dubious about getting to 40, isn't he?
Yeah, because when I was like 37, I was like, I've got a few years left now. Now I'm 38 and I'm 39 in a few months. Now I'm like, fucking hell, this time next year, like
I can say to you now, you're 40 next year.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know, it's a weird age, isn't it? I was bad at 25 actually was my worst age.
What do you mean?
I'm my most anxious about. I'm not partying anymore. 25 was my worst, much because I weren't settled in life, you know what I mean? I didn't have a proper career at 25, but 40, I don't know how I feel there. Ooh. I don't know how. People
Maybe we should do an episode about being 40. Although I obviously can't relate to that because I've got a good few years until I'm 40.
I'm 18, what was it, 18 months between us?
I don't know.
Anyway.
But so we've obviously gone through that journey in January with our non-drinking, which I'm quite proud of. I will give myself a pat on the back. But I also wanted to just touch on Dean gets a little bit grumpier, shall I say, in the winter. And for those of you who haven't heard of it, I think probably a lot of you might have, but S.A.D. So that's seasonal affective disorder. So Dean, do you want to explain a little bit about S.A.D? Because that is something that you feel sometimes impact you.
Just feel more depressed. Just feel more depressed and a bit more anxious. Not terrible, like real depression, but just a bit more knocked down, a bit more anxious in the winter. Notice that big time.
You're craving that vitamin D, that sunlight.
You don't produce as much serotonin naturally, do you? That's the chemical that makes you feel happy and calm, and like without sunlight's the main producer of that. So if you're not getting enough, that's what happens. And yeah, some people get it worse than others.
Like winter does really impact them.
Yeah,
But
like,
I find that interesting because I like winter. I like those, you know, those like cold blue crisp days and the sky's blue and it's
So
really
we've had
cold and you
about
wrap
two
up.
of them.
I just really like
that's
them.
not winter though, is it? That's not winter. That's like 5% of winter. Those crisp, lovely days where you go for a walk. It's sunny. Like the last
so
week,
neggy.
the last week ain't stopped raining.
Oh, it has rained a lot, yeah.
It's
But I
absolutely awful.
I like snow days. I like the roast dinners. I like the Christmas activities. I love in December that I get to wear black sparkly dresses with tights because in the summer I never know what to fucking wear because I hate getting my arms and legs out and then I feel hot. So I love winter.
You go to work in the dark. You wake up in the dark.
Oh, God.
You come home in the dark. Days just feel like so much shorter as well because normally you get home from work in the summer and you like go and play in the garden with the kids. You feel like you've got hours more in the summer, whereas the winter you're literally home, like eat some food, bed. Like,
he's so negative, isn't he? See, I get that.
I'm
I
not
suppose.
negative. I would rather every day be a summer's day, like not really hot, but like low 20s. Sunny, like how can you not want that? Like how can you actually like it going out there and it being raining and cold and miserable? Like surely nobody wants that in the world. Like how does anyone want that? So do you
No, I see where you're coming from because I suppose in September I did a lot of like bike riding, particularly with Daisy while you were putting Ruby to bed, or we'd go for a nice kind of like early morning stroll and things like that. It is quite nice, and I suppose I'm not as motivated to do that in the winter, in the dark. And also, I don't really like going on walks on my own in the dark.
Yeah, hard to get your steps in the winter.
It's harder. And I think, I'm not going to get into this discussion right now, but that is harder as a female to go out on your own in the dark, running, walking, anything like that.
Yeah.
I won't get into that right now, but it is. So, yeah, I suppose I don't feel the difference between winter and summer enough emotionally or physically to say.
You don't feel it at all. Like you don't feel like.
I feel like I always I'm just quite a positive person in all instances, and I try to look for the best.
I don't think it's about being positive. I think you can't help how you feel. So you wake up and you have this feeling. It's not about being positive. It's about accepting the feeling.
I suppose because I don't suffer with sad.
Being positive is accepting the feeling and still getting on with your day and doing the day. Like that's a positive action. Like I might feel down and still wake up and do the day, but it's.
I suppose because I understand what SAD is, and obviously I live with you, and I understand that, you know.
I'm not that sad.
No, but that's the acronym for the, you know, seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
And, you know, often people can do things like they get those, is it a vitamin D lamp?
Yes, a vitamin D lamp.
Yeah,
I had it on my desk.
Yeah.
Just hurt my eyes. It was like...
work then.
Went into work with fucking shades on.
Went well then. Light work for you.
It's literally under my desk.
Oh, it's under your desk?
No, I don't use it.
Well, maybe you should. Then you might, get that vitamin D that you need.
It was literally straining my eyes. And also, in the winter, like, it's less to do with the kids. It's harder with the kids, isn't it? Because... Like we were scratching around the other day at the weekend what to do. We end up just like last couple of Sundays, we've been like slobs.
I just cook a roast, don't I?
It was like 4 p.m. and I had 1,200 steps on the board. And
that's your fault though. I didn't. I'd been quite productive.
Oh no, she had 1,800. Sorry.
I didn't. I ripped up the lino in the bathroom. Thank you very much. I deep cleaned the bathroom. I got very productive while you watched football.
You were laying upstairs on the bed for hours, Sarah. Hours.
I put all the washing away while I was up there. I cleaned the bed. He doesn't know what I do, guys. He literally has no clue.
Put all the washing away. Come on. There was like 10 minutes worth of washing.
And I defluffed our velvet bed as well. Our velour bed.
7 minutes.
Oh, fuck off. You've never done it. But I just think as well, if you're constantly modelling to the children, like you say, like you were moaning about the last few Saturdays, there's nothing to do. Well, I would say there is things to do. You just have to be a bit more creative with it. And also, the only thing I would say is that sometimes the winter can cost more money. I feel in the summer it lends itself better to parks, bike rides, scooters, you can just pop out
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost money. Whereas when we were kind of brainstorming, what can we do? It was very much, should we do bowling? There's an indoor mini golf. There's that interactive dart. Should we go to the cinema? But all those things cost money. And like you say, I think we looked up to do a few family activities, didn't we, at a local
Yeah, we
place?
looked to do what? Mini golf and then bowling. It was 80 quid. And I'm like, I'd rather just sit and watch West Ham, if I'm honest. Kids can just mooch around. I watch West Ham.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of money for what it is.
Yeah. And, we don't, not everyone has that money in the winter to constantly entertain their children and do things. Like the other day I went to a trampoline park and I took myself and 4 children. It was £100 with the socks for a trampoline park, So, yeah, I think summer does lend itself to getting out of the house more, like you say, even if it's just in the garden. And I suppose, getting out of the house.
I would actually move to the Canaries. If someone gave me a choice, said live here, I do like the UK. I think it's a good country, but I would move there in a heartbeat. If the kids were set up, you were set up, work was fine, we had the money, we could do what we wanted, I would move there in a heartbeat. It wouldn't even, no decision there.
Oh.
I would honestly do that. The winter's 20 degrees, it's beautiful over there in the winter. Summer's obviously a bit hotter, but it's just...
Do you know
I can't think of a better life, really.
You're the kind of person...
What now?
You're the kind of person, you would still find something to moan about in the Canaries. You would moan, oh, it's too fucking hot. Oh, I'm sweating. Oh, too hot. Oh, I've got sweat patches. Oh, the fucking aircon's annoying me.
You literally moaned the whole way here in the car. You did. You ranted the whole way here on the way to this podcast.
Yeah, but about a specific topic, which...
How's what I moan about any worse then?
It's different, because that was... you can't quantify the two, Dean. That's weird. But I'm just saying, don't pass your negative vibes about winter, onto the kids. I think winter can be fun too and still has its perks. And I think children pick up on how you model a response to the weather. For example, if you're like, oh, I won't bother going to the shop because it's raining, your kid's never going to go outside when it's raining.
That's not me though, is it? Because if it's pissing down with rain and I want to get away from you and the kids, I'll go out there. I will go out for a walk to the shop in any weather. There could be a 60-mile-per-hour winds I've walked in, and it's just this is feels like heaven out here compared to in that house. This is beautiful. No, I
love that you care about us so deeply.
I do care, obviously. I do, but you just need your little breaks.
Well, I'm just going to go for another positive of winter, just to counteract you, Dean. Bedtimes are easier in the winter, gets darker earlier. Bedtimes are easier in the summer. We slowly see, the sun stays up longer. Bedtime creeps up a little bit. So there are some positives.
That is one, actually.
That is one.
That is one. I reckon Ruby's sleeping nearly 12 hours every night.
Yeah.
Does that happen in the summer? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Unless you get blackout lines, maybe, but we can't get them because our stupid windows in our house open inward, not outward. Anyway, but so I would say, have I made you think of anything positive about winter? There are more positives to winter.
No.
Oh.
That it finishes.
Sometimes the dark mornings I do find quite, challenging, and they can impact my mood and my energy and my motivation levels.
I think the worst month is, people say the worst month's January. I quite like January. I've often said that on my content. December's mad. So December, you just drink. We do. Drink, parties, all this, presents, all that. Then January's let's calm everything down. No drinking, less socialising, just chill. A bit more boring, but nice. And then February's probably the toughest month for me. Because then it's a bit don't know, it's just sort of January dragged on. I look forward to March the 1st because we've got the caravan opening March the 1st. That opens, so we go there.
That's the real reason you like March.
Weather tends to pick up a little bit, doesn't it? So that's what I look forward to, and I feel like my seasonal affective disorder just slowly lifting. But I think there's loads of things. I was reading a book the other day that you can do for it. I just need to get out. You need to get out in the sunlight, even if it's cloudy. Apparently, it still helps. With seasonal affective. Still get out there and walk. Still get outside, even if it is cloudy. So I need to do even more walking than I'm doing. So even more garage breaks than I'm doing, I think.
As long as you're not buying your coffees in there, babes, it's fine.
Bought one today.
Oh, what is the point in this coffee machine? Do you know what I mean? Anyone who's listened to a previous podcast knows how much Dean spends on coffee. So he bought this extravagant coffee machine.
I can't carry the coffee machine round the fucking street with me, can I?
Just make one and carry it in a cup.
What if I'm out? What if I'm out and about and I want a coffee? I can't go. Oh, well, I'm home in 6 hours. I'll wait for that. I've got to buy one.
Oh, no, you were at the office today. Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, no, I thought you meant like you walked out of our house and went for a walk.
I can't send order a cab and go, by the way, mate, just pop home, make me a coffee and bring it back, we are.
No, that's fine. I misinterpreted
And
your
I
thing.
worked out in my head, if I spend £10 a week on takeaway coffee, that's £40 a month, £60 on beans at home, that's £100 a month.
On
and
coffee?
And that's still £150 saving a month.
Okay.
So 3 months' time, it's paid for itself. And then think about the future savings.
There you go.
Although,
Coffee machine, changing our finances. One bean at a time.
One thing I've noticed is 250 grams worth of beans doesn't last very long. Jesus. 3 days. A packet of beans lasts.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
On that note, we're going to go because my mum's babysitting the kids and she's already said to me, don't be back late. And, you know, this is now, if you count the podcast, if you count the last hour of working, I've had a 12-hour day today. So I am up for a little bit of a
You're not allowed to count the podcast as work because every time I count anything to do with social media as work, she's like, that's not work. That's not work. And it is, isn't it? It is
I've
work.
never said that.
You have.
Fucking hell. On that note, we're going to go. I think we're both hangry before we have a row. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a lovely week and half term is just around the corner.
I hope you love winter as much as me. So enjoy February. Enjoy February, guys. It's amazing. It's wonderful.